Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're continuing our read through Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings. We're up to part 4, entitled Storm's Illumination. There are 4 focus characters in this final part of the story: Dalinar, Kaladin, Adolin, and Navani. I probably should actually focus a little bit more because I keep saying this is the last part of the story. And I've lied this entire time. There's one more part, part 5. I thought there was a part 5. This is why we do this beforehand. It's okay though. Part 4, Storm's Illumination, Dalinar, Kaladin, Adolin, and Navani. They are our focus characters. And we return to find Dalinar speaking with Adolin and Renarin in his office, his war room, his chamber. It's about to be another Highstorm. And you'll know that during this entire story, Dalinar has been having visions. He's been having these fits during Highstorm where from the outside of his brain, he's thrashing around, potentially hurting himself. He's begun to be tied down in his chair by his kids, and they're trying to really keep everything under wraps. However, he goes into a dream, into a vision, and before he does, he's been arguing because he is going to abdicate his throne. His position as High Prince. And Adolin is really upset about that. He's very bothered. He didn't want his father to resign. He wanted him to put these visions away and move forward. If Dalinar can't trust his own brain, though, he says, there's no way that I can run Alethkar the way that I need to. I can't run my princedom. He goes into the vision, though, and what he finds is fascinating. He's at a tower, some type of military keep called Feverstone, and he is a soldier, it appears in this dream. And he looks out over this massive field, and he seems to be a guard. Other guards are lounging around. He determines that they're not the first-rate soldiers. They must have been left behind to guard the keep. Well, out in the distance, he sees what looks like a shadow coming towards him. He indicates to people around him that, is this danger? Is this an army attacking? And people begin to come up and notice. They send out a rider who comes back and says, it's the Radiance. So for Dalinar, this seems to be a recurring theme in these visions, these ancient night Radiants. But something's different this time. They're rushing towards the palace, the castle. And Dalinar is fearful. Other people are fearful. If the Radiants attack, what hope do we have? A scout is sent out to question what is going on. He turns and rides back to the castle, and Dalinar sneaks out and rushes out onto the field. He's standing mere 100 yards away from the attacking Radiants. They stop. A lead Radiant walks out. They've all summoned their blades. They're in full plate, glowing with this eerie blue glow. And one by one, they jam their swords into the ground, unshackle their shard plates, begin walking away. Dalinar knows this from legend, from history. He knows that this is the Recreance. This is when the Radiants turn their back on their fellow men and abandon them. Dalinar rushes through asking, why? What are you doing? Why? No one answers him until one voice that he hears every vision says, they are the first. They were the first, and they were also the last. He says, is this the day of Recreance? Is this the day that I think it is? The question is answered in a confusing way. I have said that I cannot be of much help to you. The night of sorrows will come, the true desolation, the Everstorm. Then answer my question, Dalinar asks. Read the book. Unite them. The book, he says. The Way of Kings? The figure turned and walked away. In the meantime, people have been coming out of the castle now, rushing to the shard blades, rushing to the shard plates, and chaos has ensued. People are fighting, people are slashing, people are dying. Dalinar is upset, and then he comes to. Dalinar blinks back into consciousness, and as he normally does, he lets his sons know, I'm back. It's me again. And Renarin brings him a cup of wine, one of the very least intoxicating wines, because Dalinar holds to the codes that you're not allowed to be inebriated. And he comes back, and the boys just have this sort of like scared look on their faces. And his question is, am I that bad to watch, really? Like, is it that bad? And he says, Renarin says, the gibberish you speak, father, is unnerving. Adolin says, you thrash about, you nearly tipped over the chair, and we had to hold it still until you steadied. Dalinar's response is, what more proof do you need that I should not be leading anymore, that I should abdicate? So they go back and forth a little bit, and they're sort of left with a question of, well, what do we do? What do we do? We clearly don't agree what we should do moving forward, but what should we do now? And Renarin has a really good idea. He asks, like, well, what was the dream? What was the vision? And he tells his sons, and this is new, he's never shared the details. And Renarin very calmly says, well, what if we prove whether what you saw was true or not? We could go back to the histories. We could even talk to Yasna. Isn't this what she does as a Aristotelian? And Dalinar and Adolin have a moment where they're like, that's a really good idea. We hadn't considered testing what I've seen. So now they have to ask the question of, well, who should we trust? Who can write down as a scribe what I've seen in detail so that we can get it checked? And the answer goes forth that Navani should be the one that is trusted. Aunt Navani, King Gavilar's widow, Yasna's mom, the King Elikar's mother, the boy's aunt, Dalinar's sister-in-law. We remember from earlier in the story that there was some type of romantic interest, this sort of love triangle between Gavilar, Dalinar, and Navani. She ended up choosing Gavilar, and Dalinar still wrestles. He feels uncomfortable. He feels like he should honor her as a sister-in-law, and that his even long-lasting desires for Navani are wrong. She comes in, she's very professional, she rots down, she asks questions when she needs more clarity, but she doesn't push, and she folds up the paper, the parchment, and says, we'll now wait for Yasna to be able to analyze this. Then Navani comes up with an interesting way to send Adolin out of the room. She questions about a girl that he's interested in and says, I purchased you a basket of fruits that I heard she liked, so you should take him to her. Adolin jumps on the opportunity, leaving Dalinar and Navani alone. She clearly wants things to develop between her and Dalinar. She is hinting, she is pushing, she is continually getting closer and closer in this moment to Dalinar, and he kind of panics. He like snaps at her, no, this is not right. Absolutely not. Just leave me. And after a couple times, finally, he gets his way. She pauses and walks away, walks towards the door without another word. Dalinar is frustrated because in a part, he still does have feelings for Navani. He's very troubled. He's very confused. And our chapter closes with a prayer. Almighty above, he thought, please just let me know what to do. Well, the plot has taken a step forward for Dalinar. At least he's got something moving to see whether is he going mad? Is this a fantasy from his brain? Or is there some historical credence to what he's seen? We'll see in chapters moving forward, but thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for reading. We'll continue on in the next chapter in the next video. Until then, If you're interested, you can like and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to continue to have these conversations about the Way of Kings. It's a great story. It's one that I hope you're really enjoying. So take care, and we'll get back together in the next video.